Hi, welcome. I watched an interesting video today about a musician making fun of podcasters, and he kept adjusting his microphone. And I know for a fact I do this a lot, and now I can't want to keep adjusting my microphone.
I think you make a really great point. And I think it's awesome what you're bringing up, because on this podcast, we want to talk about important things.
And I think the point that you're making is clear and is concise, and it really brings something to the table.
And we don't cut each other off at all.
No, so Christian, you haven't seen it's a whole bit where it's like basically his caption was podcasters spend 20 minutes talking about nothing.
Yes.
And it was just 60 seconds of him going through and being like, just like Jordyin was doing, where it's like, and I think we should talk about.
I actually talked about this on my previous podcast. So check it out. We'll link that in the description below.
But you know what? We'll also talk about it right now, too. Hello, Granite Armadillo. Hello and welcome.
But the one thing that's very true is
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I'm doing it all the time. Actually, when I want to make a big point, I find myself doing this. Listen, guys, I disagree. And
like,
you start
you
screaming.
grab the mic and you lean in.
Yeah,
like,
you're just like,
I have something to say, motherfucker.
yeah. But you know what? That's something about holding it and like steadying it and just yelling into the mic is very powerful. It's
I kind of miss our old headsets. I'm not saying we go back to them.
Yeah.
But there was just something.
You made us change.
There was something easier about having the.
But we look like
headpiece.
sportscasters. That was the problem,
that was the
right?
problem.
My
That was the
favorite
problem.
part is Ravi just pivoting in a big circle, right?
Yeah,
it goes from
it's cyclical.
It really is cyclical, and we've done podcasts long enough where we've gone through all the cycles of everything with equipment. So the nice thing is Ravi, when we got these mics, Ravi said to me, he's like, "Let's sell the headsets." I'm like, "No, I think we should hold on."
Just in case.
And,
And there we go.
You never know. You just never know.
Just a heads up for you two. I will have to keep checking my work phone.
Why?
Because we're boring.
I'm waiting for something to come in. So just.
All right, well, explain it to us.
Is it breaking news?
Yeah,
Are you going to
tell
break
us.
some news here?
Tell us
Shaquille O'Neal
what
is
are you
coming
waiting
out
for?
of retirement. You heard it here first from Ravi Remco, pal.
Shaquille O'Neal, by the way.
What a guy.
What
He's
a
tall.
guy. What
Really tall.
What an individual.
He's a tall human being.
I saw a really good tweet, actually. So obviously, Ravi, you work in sports, so hopefully you've seen all the beef that's been flying around about the GOAT discussion, people piling on Steph Curry, people piling on James Harden. Like all the superstars in the league, both past and present, get like dumped on. The one superstar that people don't usually dump on,
Peyton.
Shaquille O'Neal.
That's not true.
He was so dominant.
That's not true.
No. In terms of his on-court.
There's one individual that will always shit on him.
Who?
Charles
Barkley.
Yes.
But
But not for his on-court.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He still shits on him.
Oh yeah, no. So Shaquille O'Neal does get shit on, but his for the on-court production, whereas all these other guys are getting questioned, like, LeBron's not the GOAT, or Steph Curry, is washed or whatever.
Well,
it is.
I mean, I disagree a little bit. Some people do question Shaq's commitment to the game.
The work ethic.
Yeah. A lot of people thought he could have been even better if he had a Kobe or a Michael Jordan type work ethic.
Yeah, I think that's unquestioned, right? Or
yes, definitely gets dunked on.
who? Shaq?
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nate Robinson dunks on him.
Nate Robinson.
Nah, Nate Robinson is officially done because he got knocked out by that guy.
Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna talk pod stuff.
Pod racing?
The podcast. So we'll get going in just a second. If you are watching, if you are watching, because you wouldn't be listening to this later.
The live portion. That's
Yeah.
correct.
But if you are watching, definitely throw more comments and questions in there. Or his ability to stay in shape.
I mean that is all
Shaq
true.
is really out of shape now.
He's
Like-
older. He's in his 40s, 50s.
Yeah, but
No.
he's
40s.
He's older than that.
he's
I think.
he's not older than in his 50s.
I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah, but yeah.
He looks like he's in his 50s.
Oh,
that's like
God, no. He's 48.
Oh boy, he
He's
looks
not in
bad
his
for
50s
48.
yet.
I'm not
But you have to
lie.
remember, athletes, though, they put so much stress and strain on their bodies. Like most athletes, like football players, we all know they're notorious when they're like 17 or 18 going from high school into college. They look like they're in their mid-20s to 30s, but that's just the strain.
Also, human growth hormone, kind of
I remember in college, my friend Tim. He played for the football team. It was on this Division I AA, but still, college football. And he played. He kind of went back and forth through his career in like the offensive line and the defensive line. And I just remember when we would get meals together, and he'd have to like gain weight. He'd have to eat so much food, and he was just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, just the stress of that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton, I think, is 22 years old, center, and he looks like he's 40. He looks as old as Shaq. Like, he just has a very mature
some football
face.
players, a lot of linemen in today's world have to turn it around. So, like, Joe Thomas, for example, who played for the Browns, was he played, I believe it was
Alan Faneca? Is another one?
Yeah, so Joe Thomas was, played on the line, and he was a big guy, 300 pounds. And he, like, lost a ton of weight, is really cut now.
Went keto.
Yeah, he went keto. I think he got into arguments with people online about keto.
Yeah. I mean, it works for him, and, but he found what worked for him. Right. He found what, made him lose the weight in the easiest way possible.
Right.
So, I mean, good for him.
I mean, he should have joined Fat Club, but,
Fat Club! All right, let's get on with the actual show here.
I'm going to start the records.
Oh, I was just going to start speaking.
You can give it about an hour or two before.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let me just take the mic here.
I really agree with you.
I think the point that you made there was on point.
I actually made that point on my podcast last week. We'll put the link in the
Good it was?
It's called Was It Was.
Here we go. Good evening or morning or afternoon to you. Welcome to Was It Good? I'm your host, Ravi. I'm here with my two brothers, Arjuna and Krishna. Today we're talking a little literature with Star Wars Light of the Jedi, a brand new novel set in the High Republic period. Also, the DCEU continues to entertain us with its off-screen shenanigans because its on-screen products leaves much to be desired. But first, what is up besides this guy?
Nice.
Thank you.
You didn't bungle the little literature part. I put that in there just to trip you up, and you actually handled that fairly well.
Thank you.
Little literature.
Wow.
Like a really hard, alliteration.
Question.
You tried to trip up our host?
Yeah, I do
It's
all
a little
the time.
fucked up.
Wow.
Wait, why?
Question on the title of the book that you referenced. Is it Star Wars Light of the Jedi or is it Star Wars High Republic Light of the Jedi?
That's actually a fantastic question.
I believe it is Star Wars Light of the Jedi, but High Republic, if you look at the actual cover of the book, High Republic's at the top because they're really trying to brand it as like these are the High Republic stories. They're really going all out on this like High Republic literature multiverse type of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking we definitely should kick things off with that. But before we get into that, there's an added piece in here in our outline called "What's Cooking, You Filthy F Word." What is that in reference to? Can we swear on this podcast?
I hope so.
We've been doing it for 120 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But anyway, what's cooking, you filthy fucks?
Not much.
It says that Christian has something to talk about.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, protect your accounts. And change your passwords often. Because I spent 2 hours this morning chatting with PlayStation because somebody got into my account, changed my email, and then charged my account $250 or put $250 in my wallet. And now, after I resolved all that, they decided that further investigation was needed and have temporarily banned my account or temporarily suspended it. So I can't even play my PlayStation 5 right now.
Wait, you can't even, without an online account, you still can't play your games locally?
Correct.
Are you sure?
That is the way the PlayStation 5 is set up, where you need an online. First of all, you need an online connection. At least in the 5 minutes that I was trying to, play something, and you need to be connected to your PlayStation network ID.
That doesn't seem right.
I know, but I tried to play Skyrim, which is
a local
single player, as you get.
Yep.
And you should not need to use.
Wait, did you have a disc or
nope. This is a purely online?
Oh yeah, because it's a digital copy.
Yeah,
that part makes sense.
Well, that's all of my games are digital except for.
Then you're fucked.
Yeah,
that's
how most people play their games today. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I'm not most people.
I know. Look behind, real quick. I mean, obviously for listeners of the podcast, you can't see this, but behind us on our set here is a gigantic case thing that is filled with blue little plastic boxes. We call them Blu-ray discs, or
Holding them in my hand.
And cases, and there's hundreds, thousands maybe, and they're all owned by Arjuna. Thousands.
I think there's 10,000.
Thousand.
When someone steals my identity, I'm not fucked.
That's true, I guess. I mean, you're right, technically.
I can go back and I can play Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
Why would you want to do that?
The game was so stupid.
What?
The game was actually addictive,
It was a
but
great game.
people were obsessed with it. Like, I remember going to Walmart and playing that game in the video game section.
Oh
in
yeah,
Walmart.
I remember that. Remember, like every Sunday when we first moved to New Hampshire, we would go to the mall. Like,
Yeah,
to get
why would we
stuff.
do that?
Because mom and dad were like getting stuff for the house. Like they were getting like a washer and a dryer, and then like beds and all that type of stuff. And us being, children, were like, oh, this is boring. And so we would always like find the, this is back in the day. I don't feel like they don't have these anymore, but there's just like the
Malls?
video game setups in the malls.
Yeah.
Like at the Walmarts and the Target, all the different department stores had it, and we would just go there and spend the whole time.
We've aged
playing
ourselves
those
so
games.
much that one of our viewers here said, "Okay, boomer." Okay, boomer.
I mean, the way
Go back to your
Arjuna
mall.
acts, sometimes I do wonder if
He was born a boomer. Let's
Well,
be
back in
honest.
my day.
I think he's got that Benjamin Buttons thing like 100%.
So you're saying I look younger? Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, you're like a fine wine? I don't know.
A fine wine.
Anyway, speaking of things that have aged well as time has gone on, Star Wars.
Has it though?
I
don't know.
Ask me on my deathbed. That's really the only time I can give a logical answer to that, because so much more time would have passed.
It's true.
So much more content would have come out.
So more content doesn't necessarily mean good content.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But I've actually decided to pick up a book,
Yeah, it's weird.
and I've been reading
First
it.
time in 20 years? 30 years?
Ever?
40 years.
25 years, I would say.
Was the last book you read Lord of the Rings when you were 7?
No, what was the last book I read?
Like novel, not graphic novel. No pictures allowed.
No pictures.
I honestly can't remember. I
Wow.
think it was something in college, so at least 10 years.
Wait, you read in college?
Had to.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, that's-
I
you have to do
didn't
some of
really
those
use
classes.
Spark Notes all that much in
Mm.
college. But anyway, the Star Wars High Republic book, Light of the Jedi. I ran through. I think I'm on like chapter 10.
Nice. Wow.
Wow.
You're
It's
speed
actually
reading
it's a
this.
very easy read, which is great.
I'm excited to read it in a day.
You probably could. You
I know.
could definitely read this in a day. So far, great detail, attention to detail in terms of the characters that we're being introduced to. I don't believe this is a spoiler, being that the book is called Light of the Jedi. But this is focusing a lot on Jedi.
Wait, you just ruined the whole
Big-
story.
Dude,
for
I
me.
thought this was about the Mando.
Fucking surprised. And let me ask you this
I
question,
thought it was
because
about the light.
the next thing I'm about to say might be a spoiler.
Mm.
But then again, it's introduced in the first, I think, by chapter 6 or 7. It's just simply one line.
Sure.
And a lot of the promotional, actually, yeah, and even the trailer that was dropped on launch day for this showed this character. So I'm just going to say it. It's not really a spoiler because it's in a trailer.
It's in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
I know who
So
you're saying.
Yoda.
The book
trailer.
Yoda is referenced in the initial trailer, and then in the book, he is referenced as well.
Yeah,
And
and you know it's not Grogu.
but this is because they reference him as Master Yoda.
Maybe it's a trick.
So he's a master.
Maybe
So
this
he's a
is in the
master.
future.
He's a master at this point.
Is he on the council?
That
Well, actually, don't
that,
say anything.
that part wasn't made clear from what I've read so far.
All right.
But what's interesting, he is a Jedi Master. I believe this period that we're in, the High Republic period, is roughly 200 years before
Oh.
events of like Phantom
Phantom
Menace.
Oh, okay.
The
I was
greatest Star
picturing
Wars
600
movie
years for some reason.
Ever made.
Well, even if it was 600 years, I don't think he would have gone to the point of Jedi Master, probably like Jedi Knight or potentially even Padawan, because we know his species age
Slow.
differently, slow. Like I think around age 300, he's probably like a teenager, maybe young adult.
Yeah.
Type
50,
area.
you're
Depending
still a
on how
baby, right?
depending on how Grogu's going, yeah.
Yeah.
50 years old and he's still a hideous baby.
But yeah, the chapters I've read so far, it's around an event that is occurring, and you're following a bunch of different individuals, different groups. They're all Jedi based, And the one thing that is interesting, I will say, is this is the way that this has been presented, especially like in the trailers. The High Republic. This is the peak of the Republic. It doesn't get any better than this, as we know. 200 years later, he gets fucking wiped out.
We could probably assume what's going to be introduced in this period is going to be what leads eventually to the downfall, right?
Potentially. I have a theory, and I'll jump into this theory in a second. But the piece that is interesting about this being the peak of the peak of the Republic is that a lot of the individuals, when they want a group of people to do something, they end whatever they'll say, like, hey, we all need to work together because we are all the Republic. Yeah. And then everyone will say, we are the Republic. So it's very kind of culty.
Is it like it's pre like may the force be with you? It's like
essentially,
like the galactic saying.
Yeah, everyone feels very kind of connected. Like the event that this all takes place in is near the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
and as we've seen in current like Skywalker sagas type stuff in The Mandalorian, people in the Outer Rim though have usually never felt that connected with Inner Rim world people. They've always felt separate because of how far they are. But this, everyone's very much like, we are the Republic.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, kind of.
But to go back to your question, Christian, about like, is this the stuff around this period? Is that what's going to be to the eventual downfall? I kind of think that is the case, and not because of anything currently canon,
right? But
more so what was in the expanded universe, which in a nutshell, the original idea, I guess you could say, for episodes 7, 8, and 9 was to kind of give a little bit more backstory to Palpatine and the reason he decided to bring about the end of the Republic and unify as this empire was because there was something beyond the Outer Rim, something so evil and so bad that he needed to get all this stuff together in order to go combat that. And again, with the trailer, they have said that there is some great evil on the outskirts of the Outer Rim and everything. And and this book primarily focuses and talks about a station, a brand new massive station that is set up in that area. So maybe they are kind of leaning a little bit back into Legends, and maybe it could be the thing that kind of connects us to this Skywalker period and is kind of the catalyst for the end.
Is the great evil called paranoia?
Could be. It very much could be.
Do we know how old Sheev is? Like, is he like a naturally aging human, or
he's a humanoid?
Older?
Yeah, no, he's definitely human.
So he's not alive then during this book.
Wait, who?
Sheev Palpatine.
Oh,
that's his name. Sheev.
Well, we don't know. Maybe we'll find out
Good old Sheevy.
in the kids book that they're gonna release.
Yes, that would be the logical subject matter. Palpatine.
What's interesting is this, as Arjuna said, this is a multi-book, big mega book event that leads to whatever.
Didn't they call it like a mega event or something?
Mega book event is what they kind of referred it to, which is cool. But they are releasing in a variety of written formats, right? Like adult books, like High Republic, children's books, where it's like hard wooden covers or whatever.
Oh, with pictures.
And then like full-blown, graphic novels being distroed by Marvel. But some of the more hardcore fans, and I don't know if they're trolling or if they're being serious, but some have gone out and purchased like everything because they want to know everything.
Right.
It's just, I find it fascinating, but a little weird. Like I have no.
Why though?
I have no plans to go and
buy the children's books.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy.
You're buying the graphic novels.
Well, here's the question.
Right. That's
2 out of 3.
That's fine.
That's
but
2 out of 3.
The children's book, come on.
What if there's something in there that you need to know?
I feel like they would explain it in one of the other formats.
You would hope so, but you don't know.
I also have a feeling that this is kind of, this is Disney's first foray canonically out of the Skywalker saga. Right? Like,
you mean like time period?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I wonder if it's popular enough they'll do more of the big money makers, right? The video games, the movies, the TV shows, the Disney Plus shows, like an adaptation of some, bunch of this story event. That
I'm sure that's exactly what they're trying to build up toward, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's interest there.
Yeah.
And like if there's a lot of interest in the books and stuff, and there's a lot of demand for it, like it will come.
Is there a KOTOR game coming? A remake or some, remastered or?
No
because
idea.
Kotor to me is like if they redid it to to this High Republic period, something like that.
There's definitely demand for it. Like it's still a popular game. Like if you look at like the Apple Arcade, like I think KOTOR's still in like the top 25 like paid apps for games. So
really,
yeah, in certain categories, like
wow.
it's still like
RPG,
it's still a popular game despite being 15 years old.
It's because it's a great game.
It is a great game.
Yeah, I have it on my computer.
Now that I have this new iPad Air, sponsor pending from Apple, I should buy KOTOR for it.
If you're gonna do that, I would recommend you can sync your PlayStation controller with your iPad.
No.
Is this the precursor to Apple buying Sony?
That rumor, I love that rumor so much.
I want it to happen.
Same. I think that would be great.
Apple buying Sony. Why is that good?
Because then we get more stuff.
No, but
combined.
You want competition, otherwise it goes stale.
No, I don't.
You got Microsoft.
Yeah, we got Microsoft.
Why would you?
We have Google.
You don't. Yeah, but that's like four companies. You want diversity so that it keeps the other companies having to try hard. Like innovation dies when you have less competition.
I don't know. I mean, I think it would be great because the two biggest things that Sony, maybe three biggest things that Sony presents. There's still plenty of other companies as competitors. The video games, there's still other companies
Nintendo
out there.
And Microsoft are still out there.
They're still massive. There's PC gaming. There's Google and their whole weird thing that they're doing. Stadia. I don't know.
I believe it's pronounced Steva.
Sony also has their TV. TV lineup is huge for them.
Why do you want Apple to buy them? I don't understand.
Because then they can incorporate their beauty in terms of engineering and over-engineering and making something cooler. And it's just one big unified happy thing. I'd love to buy a TV that had Apple TV, PlayStation, Apple Music.
So why don't you just have Apple create their own TVs?
No. Just buy someone else to do it.
No.
Yes.
No, that doesn't make sense. Sorry.
I think that's a great idea.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Anyway, in terms of things that do make sense, just kidding.
No,
this kind of doesn't make sense.
This is the opposite of that.
Ben Affleck, the man who went to space and helped blow up an asteroid.
What?
Good old Armageddon.
You forget he's in that?
Oh, yeah, I did forget.
The man
that is him, right? No,
yes.
It's not Ashton Kutcher?
No, that's Ben Affleck.
Get them confused.
Well, Bruce Willis is in that movie, so maybe that's why you...
Yeah.
What else has he done? He did that movie where he had a drinking problem.
Oh, that's
Triple
one that came
Frontier.
out last year. Last year, where he's a coach.
Yes.
I actually saw that movie. It wasn't bad.
He does a great job in dramatic roles. Things like Armageddon.
He does a great job behind the camera.
This is true.
He does?
Yeah, as a director.
What does he direct?
Argo. He directed Argo. He directed
Argo's a good one.
What's the Boston heist one? Jesus, why am I forgetting it?
The Town.
The Town. Another great movie. Gone Girl. I think he also directed.
Yeah,
right?
he did direct that one.
He directed Gone Girl?
Yeah,
I believe so. I think.
Yeah, he was in it. I don't know if he directed it. I feel like he did.
I thought he did.
He was in it. He was good in that.
He made waves when he was the original Daredevil. That was a terrible movie.
He made waves?
Yes, made waves in terms of because at the time Ben Affleck was a considered. I mean, he's still considered like an A-list Hollywood actor.
He is?
And then he jumped into the comic book movies.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Oh, that's fine. He jumped into the comic book movie franchise, and then after Daredevil, we didn't see him in any comic book stuff. And then Justice League and Batman and all that fun stuff was announced, and then all of a sudden, headlines everywhere: Ben Affleck is Batman. He was taking the mantle over from Christian Bale. Another great Batman, another very interesting and different take on Batman. And then we got Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
And that was the end of the DC.
Then things kind of took a weirder turn where he had the cameo, right, in Suicide Squad in the beginning with Joker.
Yeah, and he punches
the car.
Harley Quinn?
He punches the car.
He makes out with her, but that's right.
He does?
He revives her and he kisses her, but it's almost like a romantic kiss.
Oh, that's
a very strange
weird
scene.
I don't remember that.
And then obviously his big debut, was kind of the leader of the Justice League. And then that was back obviously in 2017. And then a couple months after Justice League dropped, rumors started circulating that, wasn't happy, was kind of done with it. There was that wonderful memeable moment from from the press junket with him, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill sitting there, and they were asked the question of how do you feel about the movie, and Ben Affleck looked like he had died.
Yes.
Top 3 meme of all time.
Or he had smelled Henry Cavill's fart. I don't know. But then, rumors back and forth of he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out have been going on for a couple of years. And then finally, some more weird news actually popped up, which was Michael Keaton was supposedly reprising his role as Batman from the 1990s Michael Keaton Batman. And then there was confusion because there were things dropped where Michael Keaton would be a prime Batman in the prime universe, or was he taking on the old and all that fun stuff. And that brings us up to today, and Ben Affleck is officially out.
He is appearing in one more movie still.
He's appearing in one more movie, and then he is out.
What's the movie?
And Michael Keaton will be the new, quote, Batman of something.
Prime Man.
Man.
Wait. Is the last movie he's appearing in Zack Snyder's Justice League cut?
No. Yes, he is appearing in that. I don't know if that's considered a movie or just a vanity project at this point.
Yeah.
But no, he is still appearing in the Flashpoint movie that they're doing with Ezra Miller's Flash, as is Michael Keaton. And that was reported on heavily the previous summer. In 2020. And I think we talked about it on this podcast that was the rumors, all these Batmans coming together. But it seems like what they're going to do, and this came from a New York Times article, a New York Times interview with the head of, I believe, DC Films. And she talked about how that will likely be his swan song, and then what they're doing is ambitious. They're going to have the Robert Pattinson Batman film series that is not connected to the DCEU, and then they will still have some version of the DCEU, and Michael Keaton will be that Batman. So what I assume is going to happen is in this Flashpoint movie, it'll basically be like a handoff. Like Ezra Miller's Flash will change time, and that's why we'll get a new old Batman.
Does anyone care at this point?
I think Ben Affleck departing, I think, is okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's fine. You never want someone working on something that they're not 100% into.
Yeah.
And it's been clear from the beginning Ben Affleck was never super sold on this idea of being Batman. Most of the time in his press junkets following all these movies, he usually just, like that memeable clip, he just wasn't into it, which is, it's fine. Whatever. You did it for the paycheck. We get it.
I have a different theory. I think because if you guys remember correctly, the DCU, the Kevin Feige equivalent of the DCU was supposed to be Christopher Nolan. And I think part of the pitch and part of Affleck signing up for Batman v Superman and kind of appearing in the DCU was working with Zack Snyder, but also working with Christopher Nolan in kind of shaping this universe and hoping Christopher Nolan would be a Feige type and let each creator kind of create their own property. Because remember, he was very attached to Batman and very excited to not just star in a Batman movie, direct it and write it. Right? He would have done the triple threat thing with a beloved, comic book icon. And it just didn't work out. And I think part of that was because of everything that happened with Batman v Superman and Justice League. It was so negatively received. We know Warner Brothers is a giant mess. And I think that probably just bogged him down. And then he's like, I'm done. But I think he was excited. At least when you look at those early interviews and the reasons he did it, especially after the backlash he had from Daredevil, where for many years he's like, I'm never going to do another superhero movie again, because of how badly received Daredevil was. So it took something special to get him out of it.
Do you think he'll follow his buddy Matt Damon when it comes to superhero movies and just do cameos going forward?
I think he's done. I think he's going to be done with the superhero stuff. I bet they paid him a shit ton of money to probably appear in Flashpoint and kind of wrap up his storyline in some way, shape, or form. And then he's like, I'm done.
What storyline?
Well, exactly.
The part of this news that's the most interesting is the Michael Keaton part.
Yeah.
Because even when the rumors were starting that Michael Keaton will play or reprise his Batman from the 90s, a lot of people were thinking he's going to play old Batman and that will then open up a door for a Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis storyline, which, as we all know, would be amazing because Batman Beyond is probably one of the more edgy, interesting, animated DC shows that they've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, next to the Justice League Dark Apocalypse story, which was just everybody fucking dying.
It was fun.
You really should watch the DCAU, Arjuna,
I'm
and
more
everybody.
of a fan of the DCCU.
The DC comic book
universe.
Comics universe.
Comics.
DC.
What is
CU? Is DC Comics See You Later?
Wow. So DC Cull
Yeah, I guess if you want to go that way.
feels like something a Jafar would say.
Yeah.
DC Cull.
DC Cull.
Been watching a lot of Stargate lately.
Yes, you have.
Great show.
Jumping
I gotta
around.
bring that back.
So is the DC? So it sounds like the DCU. They still want to continue with this DCEU.
Yes.
They still have plans to create a connected universe. I
think they're just hoping
why? Why do they want to do that?
They luck into it.
They lucky like they just eventually get one
It just
right?
works itself out.
It's not what?
Honestly, I think that's Warner Brothers' hope. They're at the point now where they're like, make your movies and we'll figure out some way to connect them and maybe it'll work. And if it doesn't,
who cares? We still made our money.
Well, some stuff is still making money. Obviously, like Aquaman made a ton of money. Wonder Woman, the first one, made a ton of money. Obviously, Wonder Woman 1984 hasn't made the same amount of money because of the current effects of COVID.
How much is it? I read somewhere it's made 118 million so far
Worldwide?
Yeah,
I
Wonder
think
Woman.
that's about right.
Yeah, 1984.
By the way, the highest grossing movie of 2020 was Bad Boys for Life.
And
yes.
how much does
Fitting.
anyone?
Fitting.
I don't. It wasn't very much.
Was it 50 million?
No, but domestic? No, it was higher than that because
okay.
it came out in January pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was really the one blockbuster of the year if you look at the numbers.
So part of the reason we're talking about, Ben Affleck leaving the DCEU is we want to play a quick, fun game where we each get to present the case for worst DCEU movie of all time and why, and then kind of quickly list off where we put everything else. So you guys did your homework, so you guys get to go first. So Krishna, what is your least favorite DCEU film to date?
I mean, no surprise. To me, it was a tight battle. The tight battle between Justice League versus Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Oh, 3 verses.
3 verses, yeah. I really struggled to which one I hated more. And ultimately I went with Justice League because Batman versus Superman, the trailer was so good for that movie. I've never been more hyped for a movie. So the trailer is what elevated Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice over Justice League. Justice League was a hot pile of garbage. I don't know if that's really controversial. I think a lot of people probably have one of those 2 movies at the very bottom.
Arjuna, what was your worst movie?
I also said Justice League, but for the point of the exercise, I will make an attempt to argue that Batman v Superman is worse than Justice League.
You will?
Why?
Why?
And the reason I can say that is because up until that point for the DCU, all you had was Man of Steel. That's it.
Oh, was Dawn of Justice really the second one?
Yes. Dawn of Justice was the second one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Batman v Super, and there was a lot of, even though Man of Steel wasn't great, even though most people don't even consider it good, right? It was still,
I would say some people
it was
do.
still passable, right? People were like, okay. And then in the intervening years, there was a lot of talks about this is the start of the next thing, and there was a lot of buildup. And then I think it was like 2014 or 2015 at like a Comic-Con or some type of event is where they dropped the Batman v Superman logo, which was just the Superman logo, and then right on top of it was a Batman logo. And I just remember people losing their minds because it was really cool. Like, we had never seen this before. We know part of the reason they did this was, I don't know who decided to do it first, or Marvel or Warner Brothers, but, Marvel came out with Civil War that same year as well, so there was that competition, and they were like, we're going to do, I think they announced theirs first. Don't know if it was their initial idea first, but they announced theirs first. And I think there was a ton of excitement and a ton of hype around this, especially like when Ben Affleck got involved.
Yep. That was.
And then it sucked.
Yeah.
And I think that was like I said,
the
that was the end of the
expectations
DC.
is what makes it
So
worse.
my least favorite DC movie is Batman vs Superman, and then obviously Justice League.
Right.
But the reason I picked Batman vs Superman as the worst one is because rewatching it is tough for me because it feels the best way I can explain it is like the casino scene in episode 8.
Canto Bite. Yeah.
There are very boring dialogue heavy parts, and it just doesn't work. The acting feels very flat and fake. Justice League, don't get me wrong, definitely suffers from that problem. But the thing with Justice League that puts it a step up above is because I'm still a comic book nerd at heart. Like, seeing the Justice League together is still a very cool and like, that's awesome. And they're fighting, and yes, it's over the fucking top.
Yeah.
And it is terrible fucking CGI.
Yeah.
But the simple fact that it is the Justice League all together is the small little slither that makes it a tiny bit better than Batman vs Superman.
Actually, it's funny that you say that. Batman v Superman kind of suffers, has the same issues that Wonder Woman 1984 does, and that's like a very weak theme and bad character motivation.
And Martha.
Yes.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like the bad character motivation of like the reasoning that Batman wants to kill Superman is not good. Very similar to kind of like the motivations in 84 with, you know, Pedro Pascal's Max Lord and like what he wants to do, and even with Wonder Woman and her motivations. So interesting. They clearly have learned.
We're definitely agreed on the bottom too. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I think the number 1 and number 2 spot in terms of like what we consider better or best and then better or whatever is going to be the controversial part. So I'm going to throw mine in first because I haven't written it down. Sure. But to me, the best...
oh, no. I'm scared.
The best one is Man of Steel.
Interesting.
And
a lot of people actually agree with you.
Not just because it's it's not because it's first. It's just because it's so different from what we it's so different from what we got from Christopher Reeve's Superman, which, you know, is the only other Superman film.
Brandon Routh, 06.
I don't consider that.
But that's a Superman.
That's actually not even a bad Superman movie.
That one's another tough
Superman
one.
Returns.
It's not bad.
But that's the one. But that one also follows Christopher Reeve's story loosely, very loosey goosey. But it's an interesting take on Superman in terms of what he does to Zod. In the sense that it's not what you would expect. It's a little shocking, the fact that they level the city. And then the other piece of it that I really enjoy compared to any of the other ones is the musical score.
Yeah.
It is very, very iconic. It's Hans Zimmer. It's a very iconic soundtrack. You could, like, I've heard it in 1 billion plus advertisement commercials, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Man of Steel. So it makes it a much more memorable film.
That's fair.
And because of that, it's easier to go back, throw it on, watch it, and be like, oh yeah, this is fun. Again, very like piss poor plot points, very kind of flat acting. Probably the best acting was the performance of the character of General Zod.
Yeah,
that was somewhat
Michael
Shannon. He is the creepiest, angriest villain fucking ever.
He's great.
So he was a great casting choice. He did a great job. It sucks that he's obviously dead. Spoiler alert.
Wait, he died?
What? Yeah, he died.
I forget that movie completely.
They use his body in just Batman v Superman. That's right. To make the beastie thing.
I forget that movie too.
That kills Superman.
Yeah. And then to me, number 2 is going to be Wonder Woman. Just again because the
final act sucks.
The final act definitely sucks, and that's kind of what stops it bring from number 1. But everything else in terms of as an origin story showing this character in the new world or the world of World War II, kind of building upon that story, was very interesting and different compared to everything else that's being presented. It's just one of those films that stands out and makes it, again, something more memorable as opposed to the clusterfuck that is the end of it.
I like it. I cannot hate your selections.
I hate it.
I was going to say I started out with Suicide Squad and present a bunch of bullshit things.
But then,
and
we were
I
just
truly like act and see if I could convince you all. But then I was like,
you could never convince.
I'm too hungry. I don't have the energy to do it.
What are the rest of your movies?
Oh yeah, I guess I could finish this up. So after that would be Shazam.
You have not seen Birds of Prey.
I've not seen Birds of Prey.
So that will not be included in your ranking.
That won't be included. So then after Shazam, this is hard. Like 4, 5, and 6 are just kind of duds. I don't think it really matters the order. But I would say I'd watch, honestly, Suicide Squad over
Aquaman.
No, like I would do. Yes, Aquaman would be the last. I would do Suicide Squad, then Wonder Woman 84, and then Aquaman.
Interesting.
Wow, you have Aquaman low.
Yeah. No, which is fun. I mean, I get it. Jordan, it's only one lower than where you have it.
Yeah, it's low, man. It's low.
I have it pretty high compared to you guys.
All right, let's do your list, Christian.
All right, so I'm putting my number one DCU film is Shazam.
Why?
Because one, I enjoyed it. All the other movies require some amount of work to get through. Shazam was easy. It was the easiest watch of any of the DCEU movies. Two, I don't know the DC universe very well, but to me, it seems like, from the very little I have seen, it seems like the most faithful representation of the superheroes on screen form. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Number two, I had Wonder Woman. A lot of the same reasons that Ravi put down. I really liked the first 2/3 of that movie. I thought it's probably the best acting, I think, in all of the DCU films. I think the best acting is in Wonder Woman. And kind of like Shazam, it felt much more connected to its source material. And then everything else seems to go off the rails. I have Aquaman third.
Oh wow,
that's controversially because that movie is so bad it's good.
They also lean into being bad.
Yeah,
I feel like,
and because they leaned into being bad in the same way, to me, like Aquaman is on the same level as like a Commando or a Triple Frontier, even movies that don't try to take themselves too seriously. They don't try to be more than they are. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bad parts of Aquaman. Jason Momoa is not great.
The scenes where Jason Momoa and Amber Heard share the screen,
yes,
it is painful because it is just two actors that cannot act in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
and it's like they're reading a prompter.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Real quick though, and I don't know, I can't remember the actor's name. The guy who plays Black Manta.
Oh yeah, who was also
is also Ozymandias.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah,
and,
he was a revelation to me. I thought he was great. He was the best part of that movie. I thought it was, especially like the montage where he's like building his armor. Right? Yeah. I love that.
You didn't like Tamara Morrison?
Who?
Tamara Morrison?
Yeah, he was good.
Boba Fett?
He was all right. Yeah, I mean that was Boba Fett.
That is Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he's great. He was great. And I think that was the first thing that
you'd seen him in?
I think I've seen him in.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, though.
William Dafoe's in that movie. I'm looking at the cast. I completely forgot William Dafoe was in there.
I will say William Dafoe automatically gets elevated.
I will say, if you look at all the DCEU movies, as bad as they are, they all have excellent casts.
Yeah, too bad they didn't save him.
But that's the problem. Is like that's what is so like mind-boggling. Like it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Where it's, I guess it's not that confusing. They threw enough money at them to get the names, but then I guess either writing, studio, executives, whatever, all of that stuff is probably what kind of came in and got in the way. I mean, real quick, I don't know if you saw the director of Wonder Woman, Patty
Jenkins.
She actually spoke recently, was discussing how in the first Wonder Woman, the studio, Warner Brothers, they wanted her there, but they didn't want her to do anything. Which is quite interesting.
Like
they just wanted her name attached to the piece, but didn't want her to actually. This is the first Wonder Woman film.
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
That's crazy.
I mean, that speaks a lot. I mean, we've heard this quite a bit where Warner Brothers has some studio issues for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Where a lot of these things, like there's discussion as well about how some of the actors were treated on the set of Justice League.
Yeah, what the fuck?
When Joss Whedon was in there.
Correct.
Right.
And again, the studio is either covering things up or just not letting things come out. So I guess we can't really blame the actors. I mean, I think it's 100% on the studio.
It sounds like blame Warner Brothers, who also made Tenet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Tenet's a dumb movie.
Just to finish off the rest of my list, Man of Steel at 4. very much the same reasons. Like the music's iconic. You know, I wish the movie was a little bit brighter. It's very, very dark for a Superman movie in terms of the color palette, but you know, whatever.
But nitty gritty.
Like Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe's great. Russell Crowe's great. I thought what's his face was his other dad. Dennis Quaid?
No, Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I get Dennis Quaid and Kevin Costner mixed up all the time. To me, they're the same
Wait, they're
person.
not the same person?
I keep thinking they are. And
two different names, so you can get two different paychecks?
I mean, I thought Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone were the
same
person for like most of my younger days.
You did?
I did. I really thought they were the same.
I still think they're the same. So I never grew up.
I mean, they could be.
Yeah. I have Wonder Woman 1984 at number 5. And the only reason it's number 5 is because the 3 movies under it are dog shit. Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League. So there you go. My list is correct.
So for my list, I have Wonder Woman at 1. And the reason I put Wonder Woman at 1 is because I think up until the Ares reveal in the end of the movie, the last 20 minutes, with that awful dog shit CGI fight and everything. And no offense to the actor that plays Professor Lupin, but Professor Lupin being the antagonist, it just took me out of that movie. But up until then, it is a very good superhero movie. It is. It's. I would say it's up there in terms of like Iron Man 1, where it's probably, if there are better DCEU movies, it's not going to be the best, but it's such a great origin story. It's such a great start, and it's up there with how good it is. Even like I kind of wish it had been the movie that started the DCEU
for sure.
Frankly, just because I think it would have led to better ideas and better things happening for it. But yeah, up until that point, it's really good, and that's why I put it at 1. At 2, I actually put the one that you guys have not seen, Birds of Prey, and that's just a kind of like Wonder Woman. You know, it doesn't feel like it's beholden to creating a universe. It just brings together some characters, and it's just kind of it's just like a fun chapter in the universe with just some characters, some just kind of low level, not super powered type of people running around. Ian McGregor is a fantastic villain in the movie. He is both terrifying and hilarious.
Nice.
And
it's a good combo.
It does a really good job. Probably the best villain, I would say, within the DCEU by far, just because the DCEU doesn't have any good villains.
Wait. I'm trying to think of one.
Like we've talked about the MCU before, like having bad villains. Like I think DCU took it to another level and like said, "Oh, you think you can do bad villains?
I don't know.
We'll see."
We've had a couple, right?
No. Recently, we've definitely had better.
Oh no, I'm in the DC because we got General Zod.
Zod was okay.
Black Manta. I think
Black Manta's not even the main villain of that.
It doesn't matter. He's still a villain.
Patrick Wilson is
still a villain. And Patrick Wilson, I think, did a fine.
All
job.
I remember is him just going "ah," and then like the bubble noise, and it's just annoying.
Oh, it was hilarious. And that's all the only villains I can think of.
So out of the 9 movies,
yeah.
Okay.
Wait, there are 9?
Yes, there's 9 total DCEU movies.
Oh.
So after that, I have Shazam. So I think it's a fun movie. I don't think it's necessarily great. Kind of similar to Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman to a degree. It just doesn't necessarily feel super connected to the DCEU, but it's just a fun little chapter. Man of Steel, I have 4. Same reasons you guys kind of said. Aquaman at 5, just because
you hated it.
It's not a good movie by any stretch of means, not. But it is kind of fun to just throw on and like have on in the background, just because it is, it has some decent action sequences and it is hilariously stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Even the parts where like you said, that are uncomfortable, they're so bad you have to laugh at them. It's like entertaining in the wrong way.
Right. I put Wonder Woman 1984 at 6, which would, I think, fall in line similar to you guys, because you guys only had 8. So I put it there. Then, the trifecta of Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, which are just all, I mean, they're kind of interchangeable. Like they're easily the worst install. Like as bad as Wonder Woman 1984 is, it's nowhere near as bad as those 3.
Yeah, it's a steep drop.
They are 3 of the worst superhero movies that have ever been made
of all time.
Of all time, and
of all the 25 centuries.
I guess we have to rethink our Justice League ranking when the Schneider cut comes out and see if it can drop further.
Would we consider that different? Then we would have to rank that as its own thing,
you'd
right?
have to do its own thing for sure.
And then obviously we have James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yes, correct.
Coming. Is it this year? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Who knows? John Cena's in it. So I
just know that the release dates are all screwed up, of course, because
Justice League, the new Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
This summer.
On the direct-to-home studio thingamajiggy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's fine.
So that's our ranking.
We'll figure it out later. I mean, who cares?
Let us know what your rankings are if you agree or disagree. Best way to do that, hit us up on Twitter at Was It Good, and depending on the most outrageous rankings, we may give you a shout out and ask you what's wrong with you.
Nice, but don't just rank them then to be outrageous.
Yeah, don't put Suicide Squad 1 unless you really truly believe that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to back it up.
Give us a 12-page written essay explaining from start to finish what's wrong with you.
Yes,
correct.
Speaking about things in terms of why people are done with stuff and what's wrong with them, Jordan Peele came out today and said something quite fascinating.
Yeah,
which was, I'm done with acting because it's like masturbation.
No.
I'm definitely paraphrasing that
100%. A few key statements in there, I feel. I think he said, and I'm also paraphrasing.
Well, no, here. The direct quote is from Jordan Peele. I like watching my movies. I can watch the films I direct, but watching me perform just feels like it's a bad kind of masturbatory. It's masturbation you don't enjoy. I feel like I got to do so much, and it is a great feeling. When I think about those great moments when you're basking in something you said, that feels funny. When I think about it all, I think I got enough.
Yeah.
So to me, it just sounds like he did what he wanted. Because it doesn't sound like he wants to necessarily act in horror movies or serious roles. The acting stuff for him was the comedic side. And I think he achieved everything he wanted through mostly probably Key and Peele.
Yeah.
That's probably why they ended the show, too. They felt like they had tapped the potential there. And he's like, I'm good. Now, he is still doing voice roles. He does a voice role in Big Mouth. He is coming out with a movie with Keegan-Michael Key, which is going to be like, I think, claymation puppetry type stuff with one of their characters from Key and Peele specifically, but they'll be doing the voices. But I think in terms of live action stuff, besides being the narrator on Twilight Zone, I think we will never see him necessarily, or at least for a long time, in a main role. In front of the camera. Do you think
Jordan Peele has always come across as the type of like director, creative that kind of looks, ahead to new forms of storytelling and entertainment and stuff. Do you think maybe he has done acting in the traditional sense? Obviously, like you said, he's still doing the voice acting. Maybe I wonder if he's looking at other projects in terms of AR experiences or VR storytelling, that type of stuff.
I would imagine he's looking at that for his horror movies. He's established himself as a horror director. But I don't know if he's necessarily wants to perform in those either, because that, at least from these comments, it sounded like his acting is all about comedy. It's being a comedian on screen, and it seems like he's very much done with that. And it doesn't seem like he has an interest to direct comedies either. So I think, yes, he will certainly look into those forms, but not for an acting purpose. Having said that, he has cameoed in his 2 directed movies and voice roles.
That is true.
He was the voice of the bunny.
Maybe that's why he realized it was masturbatory. He's like, I'm just appearing in here for no good reason. I wish M. Night Shyamalan would take a leaf out of his book.
He loves appearing in his own stuff.
But that's masturbatory. Why would he do that?
Maybe he likes masturbating.
That's a problem. That's
even the unhappy ones.
No, that's true.
Speaking about unhappy things, Star Wars Galaxy Edge.
Oh, back to Star Wars.
Yeah, always back to Star Wars. That's how I like to, talk all the time. So Star Wars Galaxy Edge, it's a theme park presented at both Disneyland, Disney World. Obviously, nobody in this household has gone because of COVID.
Well, we went 2 years ago, 2019.
Doesn't count. The theme park is slowly morphing into more of a Mando's Edge. Have you guys heard about this one?
No. So wait, is it officially called Mando's Edge?
No, there's nothing official here. This is
okay.
This is more like how the Mandalorian could come to Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy Edge in a big way.
So it just sounds like they're like swapping some stuff out, some attractions.
So from what I've read about this topic, it sounds like there is a discussion going on with parks in terms of what characters do they want to highlight at Galaxy's Edge, right? And currently, it's a lot of the sequel stuff because Galaxy's Edge obviously came out right before Episode 9, so they had a lot of like Kylo Ren walking around and Rey. And now it seems that there's more discussion of like, well, people don't care about those characters anymore because that film series is done and it sucked. And
by the way,
it sucked. And people are obviously much more interested in the Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka and some of the stuff that we've more recently seen on Disney Plus. So I think the discussion now is, is Star Wars. It's kind of like, what's the future of Star Wars at this point? Are we still holding on to this whole Skywalker saga? Or are we going to move it forward in this bubble Mando verse? What is it?
It's interesting because Galaxy Edge's entire thing, it's supposed to be a planet called Batuu. And like Arjuna said, it's all about sequel era, right? Resistance versus the First Order. And, after we saw what happened with the sequels trilogy in terms of kind of how people looked at it, etc. It's become kind of clear that Disney is taking a step back from that entire, period piece. I mean, High Republic, they're going backwards, right, in terms of its timeline. Mandalorian is focused heavily after the events of Episode 6. The Disney Plus series that are coming out are also focused specifically around that era, right? Connecting back to characters and things that as opposed to presenting brand new characters, things, ideas, and all that. So it makes sense that they would go take their theme park and fill it with stuff that you are familiar with, like original trilogy stuff, prequel era stuff, the Mandalorian stuff, like that. It makes sense. That's a no-brainer. When I first heard about Galaxy Edge, that is what I wanted. Like, I wanted to be able to go to the cantina and have a drink and walk around like Tatooine or something, or walk around Coruscant or whatever. Going to a whole brand new planet. It's definitely an amazing and interesting experience. Don't get me wrong, it's very cool what they did there. But again, it doesn't feel like Star Wars because there's a bunch of new stuff that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. We talked about the stuff that's been announced, coming on Disney Plus and the new movies, obviously, at the shareholders meeting, and there really isn't much around the sequel trilogy characters, at least directly, right? There's nothing around Kylo Ren. There's nothing around Rey. There's nothing around Finn and Poe. So it is almost like there's an intentional pause there. And I think it makes perfect sense to, if you're not focusing on them in the movies and in the TV shows and the expanded universe, focus on the stuff that you are, right? If it's about the High Republic, have some High Republic characters appear, right? If it's about Din and it's about Boba Fett, like have Boba Fett walking around, like you have a whole freaking show coming out about him. So
frickin' show, brah.
Frickin' show. Have some Cylons show up. Why the fuck not?
I don't think they own the
I want a
rights
fucking toaster.
Who owns Battlestar Galactica?
NBC?
Is it NBC?
Peacock?
Right. Yeah, Peacock.
No.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi was owned by NBC Universal,
right,
and
yep.
they fall under that whole, umbrella, which is Peacock.
Okay.
Very nice. Very nice.
Which I believe they're trying to do, the third Battlestar Galactica reboot under Peacock.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Don't joke, bro.
No, that's been talked about.
I mean, there was the early script that was running around at one point.
No, there's been talks about a new Battlestar show. People were wondering potentially, is it going to be like a revival of the 04 reimagining, or if it's going to be its own thing?
They should just do a new thing.
It seems like it's going to be a new thing.
Good.
Because
like 700 years in the future.
But that's the whole point of the new Battlestar Galactica. We're way off topic here, but that's the whole point of the new Battlestar Galactica series was that history kind of repeats itself, where man gets to the point where they create machine uprises, everyone gets wiped out, find a new planet, repeat the process.
Yeah. So just do that again. But 700 years in the future, and this time you have iPhones,
and this time it's personal.
What
time travel.
What's the technology that we've discovered to recently that we can apply into the show?
Time travel.
We haven't discovered time travel.
Anyway, let's finish wrapping up here. A couple last-minute things. HBO loses half of its 18 to 49 audience without Thrones in 2020.
So this was a bigger piece written by Variety, but they reported that a huge chunk of HBO subscribers left after Thrones ended in 2019.
I mean, nobody. Hopefully, I really hope not. Nobody is shocked by that.
I'm not shocked, but that's a huge ass number.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't more.
That's a big ass number,
to be honest.
Big old.
Because that's what happened. What happened in 2020? This thing called COVID. All of a sudden, people can't go to work. All of a sudden, your finances get crunched. Honestly, I'm shocked it's not 75%.
Well, but here's the thing that really hurts, right? HBO also launched this thing called HBO Max last year, and they still lost half of their subscribers.
Yeah,
that shows you that it's not doing well. I believe there's also a report that came out that said, so remember, Wonder Woman 1984 was released on Christmas Day, and Soul was released on Christmas Day on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, well, who won?
And I believe Soul had more viewers than Wonder Woman 1984 did.
There you go.
I mean, that's tricky. I mean, it's tough for HBO in the sense that their platform launched later.
Sure.
Their platform is, typically geared towards an older audience.
Yep.
While Soul is,
anyone can watch.
Anyone can watch that.
And if you have kids during a pandemic.
I mean, Wonder Woman 1984, I would say, is a more family-friendly. I mean, obviously, it's not more family-friendly, but it's more appealing to a family, I would say, than Soul, which is probably more appealing to a younger family. But if you have a family of, 10 and 11, 12-year-olds, I think Wonder Woman 1984 is more appealing. Well, so I was shocked by that, honestly, because I think Soul...
Well, here's the difference, though. Soul was good.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Soul was
at the end of the day, quality, it's probably going to win.
Well, I would say look at the marketing, too. Marketing-wise, I feel like the Wonder Woman 1984 did not really kick into high gear until week of. While Soul, they'd been pushing that at every Disney event and chance that they got. I mean, Disney is a gigantic conglomerate.
They can afford.
They've got ESPN. They've got ABC. There's so many different distros for advertisement for them.
There's also prestige, right? Pixar is a very prestigious studio versus Warner Brothers, which we just spent the first half of this podcast shitting all over.
I think the whole last year we've spent shitting on
I think since we started this podcast.
Actually, that's true.
Even the predecessor to this podcast, we've been shitting on Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers is not on our good list.
Speaking about things not on our good list, Dexter is coming back for some nobody knows. I'm convinced there's no logical reason.
Because Michael C. Hall came out and said that he wants to
redemption.
He wants redemption for that.
Was that
season.
Okay? But that piece of information came out after it was announced.
Yeah.
Well, so now they're backtracking to try and give reason.
No. So Michael C. Hall in the larger interview talked about since the show ended, and I don't know if you remember this when it originally ended, there had always been talks about some type of spin-off or continuation, another miniseries, a movie even. At the time, he had no interest because he had been on Showtime for 10+ years because he did Dexter for 8 seasons and he did a show before that.
Yeah,
I forget, which was considered much better. And he was like, I just want to do movies right now. I don't want to do TV. I've done it for a long time. And he, in the interview, talked about every year they're just different ideas. And he's like, most of them were bad, honestly. And then he's like, as the years went on, I had more of an appetite, especially because you're further away from it. He knew, I think he said it as politically correct as he could. But if you read between the lines, he's like, yeah, the finale was dog shit. It's pretty easy to see that. And I think, as a creative, that, and he probably didn't like going out on that. And now that he I don't think his movie career took off the way he necessarily wanted it to. He's not the biggest name actor. It's a paycheck, he's probably more willing to do that type of stuff. And so it aligned up.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how you go from that last scene of
him in the woods with a lumberjack beard.
And then comes back. And I mean, the reason we bring this up is because it's been confirmed that this final season, I guess, his main villain will be Kurt Caldwell. sorry, no, not Kurt Kroll. That's the character he's playing. But Clancy Brown, who is better known as Mr. Krabs.
Correct. He is the voice of Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. He also played, if you guys remember, The Mandalorian Season 1 in the Prison Break episode. He plays the big red alien.
He's also Lex Luthor in the animated series.
Correct.
He does a lot of voice.
He is a prolific voice actor.
Yeah.
And actually does a lot of on-screen acting as well.
He's also, fun fact, he's also in The Punisher.
That's right.
Season 2?
He's the general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in there as well. So anyway, he's going to be playing a character called Kurt Caldwell, who's going to be the primary villain of the show. So he's described as an unofficial mayor of the small town of Iron Lake. So I'm not sure if that's where our character ends up. Iron Lake does sound like a woodsy
I stopped
town
watching
name.
after season 4, so
are you gonna catch up or just kind of going blind?
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, we're doing it for the pod.
You go. Well, you guys. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if
we're
I'm
gonna rank each episode in terms of how much we hate it compared to the other.
I will watch the first episode, and if it grabs me, I'm in. And if it doesn't, I'm out.
It can't grab you. It's a TV.
Yeah, when you say it grabs you,
my attention. If it grabs my attention. Grabs my
Speaking
intention.
of things that didn't, and I swear this is the last piece of news here before we get out of here. Something that didn't grab my attention was the
shocking
Doctor Who holiday New Year's
Day special.
Whatever the fuck I watched that was.
Really? Was it that bad?
It was.
Describe it to me.
It was the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, running around with her 3 companions after being locked up with Captain Sparrow. No, Captain Sparrow.
Jack
Sparrow. Captain Jack. Captain Harkins. He's back in the show. Hasn't aged a day. They did. The actor, I think, doesn't age, or they're really good with makeup.
They are. So he actually has like fully gray hair now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
shit.
They dyed it.
They did a really good job.
Wow.
But yeah, they were running around for some reason. There were Daleks. The Prime Minister was murdered.
Wait, this just sounds like every other episode of Doctor Who. I'm confused why you don't like this.
Oh, and then the two companions.
2 of the 3 leave
at the end.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say who, but
maybe I don't know.
It just kind of. I'm for the listeners and the viewers.
I don't care either.
It just wasn't good. A lot of plot holes, a lot of issues. More recently though, Jodie Whittaker has said she will be leaving after.
It's
a rumor. It's a rumor. But will be leaving after the 13th. We're on the 13th.
I think it's the 13th season.
Since they revitalized Doctor since 2005 was it? 2004.
2005.
Yeah, it's been a whole
15
while.
On to 16 years.
Crazy.
And this series actually will be shorter too. I think it's only 8 episodes instead of the 10 because they had to cut down production because of COVID.
I thought English television was 6 episodes a season.
I mean, some do 6, some do 10, some do 13,
some do 3.
So I do 3.
I like the 6 one. I like the 6.
6 is a good one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like the 24 episodes.
Oh God.
And that's that bombshell's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you for listening.
You didn't say how you feel about it.
Oh, about that?
About that news. Is that good or bad?
I mean, the fact that I don't even care to say any, I think it makes sense. It's whatever.
Who would you want as the 14th Doctor?
Idris Elba.
Wow.
It'll never happen for a number of different reasons.
He's too big for that screen.
They can't
he's
afford
too big for that.
Yeah, no, of course. But that's who I would. I think that would be amazing. Or, I
want someone out of left field. Like totally. Get Maddie Matheson. Give him a television.
Well, they normally do a British actor.
Yeah.
You want a Canadian, first of all, and you want that guy because it would be a very different show.
Oh boy.
I believe actually Idris Elba was rumored.
Gal
to be,
Gadot.
I believe Idris Elba was rumored back when they first revived it in 2005, but I think he was still doing The Wire or just finishing up The Wire at that time.
Oh, wow.
The rumors picked back up after. I think it was either Tennant or Matt Smith.
Yeah,
the rumors picked back up, and then we got Peter Capaldi, which was I think somebody one of our friends Learman said it best, or maybe it was Aaron. Capaldi was a great doctor. He just got shit scripts.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
and storylines that just were like, where are we going with this?
Right. And I feel the same thing about Jodie as well. She's a really good doctor, and like she's very different, and she has a different energy, but. Like I think it's Chris Chibnall, who did Broadchurch. His scripts and his stories just aren't good.
Let me ask you this then, because it sounds like then if there's nothing good coming out of this show for the last few seasons, perhaps they need a break. Maybe he needs to go on a hiatus like they did after the first batch before this one.
It
sounds like they're recycling ideas.
Well,
doesn't sound like there's anything original
It comes from the BBC. Like it's ultimately, I mean, they'll make that call.
They should.
I mean, Juno, I feel like you would know this. Has viewership dropped? Like I thought I read somewhere after Tennant/Smith, you start seeing a decline, and we've still seen that decline
After Tennant,
yeah.
After Tennant, second season. So remember the series 1 and series 2.
Yep.
After series 2, when Rose left, the show started to decline.
Yeah.
So people were watching for Rose.
Yeah.
For love,
probably.
Well, I mean, that's always been the thing with the Doctor, has been that interest. Excuse me, that interest that weird dynamic between the companion and the Doctor, right?
Well, specifically New Who played more into that, especially early on. But yeah, it was like a gradual decline through the end of Tennant and Matt Smith. Then there was a pretty good decline for Capaldi because he was an old man, and then there was a big decline for Jodie Whittaker because people were like, the Doctor should only be male.
Nice.
I mean, it's fine to get rid of that toxic fan base. You don't need to be if you can't. If that's what's going to stop you from watching something and not poor story, then yeah, you should probably not be there. So, anywho, that's going to end it for us here on Was It Good. As always, you can find us on Twitter at Was It Good, on Instagram at Was It Good BTM. We also live stream this podcast every Monday and Friday on twitch.tv/wasitgood. And be sure to check out our updated, brand new, amazing website, wasitgood.info.
Ooh.
Also, I can hear my cat.
Meow.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Here, I'm just going to let him in real quick because he's been meowing nonstop for
Really?
Jesus. We're still live streaming.
What is wrong with you? Not you. The cat.
Who do you want to see as the next Doctor?
I don't watch that show.
No, but just let's say.
I already said Juno. Maddie Matheson.
No, a real contender.
Maddie Matheson.
No, a real British actor.
Why does it have to be British?
Because that's just that's how it is.
I don't understand. If we're going old men and now we're going women, it doesn't need to be British.
Comment here, cat pog. What's that mean?
Like cat and dog.
Cat dog? Remember how Mom thought that show was
British?
Evil? Cat dog?
I want to see...
Oh, real quick, shout out to, I don't know if Mom and Dad you're still watching, but hey, Mom, happy birthday.
Woo!
We have something that will be on its way at some point.
And
that's food, right?
We probably shouldn't tell the people how old she is, because then she
is an age that is described as a number.
Wait, why don't we figure out a complicated math equation that the people have to solve?
Oh,
how do we do that?
Mathematics is a complicated profession.
Problem.
You guys, you know why Mandalorian Season 2 wasn't as good as Mandalorian Season 1?
Because of Herzog.
Yeah, because he wasn't in it. I just figured it out. Boom.
Boom, baby.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh, this one gives me factors of the number. That's stupid. Creating an easy mathematical puzzle that leads to a blank number.
Once you can solve 2 + 2 divided by 2, you'll have the answer.
It's 3.
Oh, here's a good one.
It is.
Here we go. 3 times 4 times 5.
No, screw that.
You want to get that one?
What'd you say?
3 times 4 times 5. That's
very easy.
That's you know what I didn't tell you about the equation? I have parentheses around the 2 + 2.
You have to say that then.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, they're silent.
You
kind of like the K in Krishna.
If you do. If you're saying out the equation, you have to say
I don't.
all the parameters.
It's my rules, my laws.
Then you failed mathematics.
I am the law.
I almost did several times.
You're speaking off of the mic.
It's incredible how I'm here, how I even, got through school. It's incredible.
I feel like that's a common theme for everybody. Real quick, did we figure out what we're doing for social clips?
We have not yet.
Okay.
What do the people think we should do? Tell us.
What's wrong
comment.
With you?
What do you want to see on our social channels that we just talked about
did
on this podcast?
Did Lawrence O'Hara not hang out with him So he's thought he's been alone this entire time?
Potentially.
I think he's just being super needy today. He was meowing outside my door.
As long as he's not peeing everywhere again.
Well, this could be a precursor for that.
I was thinking for one of the social clips, we could do my spiel on Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Or maybe the fact of I'll do Man of Steel. And then I think maybe Krishna's Justice League.
What did I say about Justice League?
In terms of how terrible it is, you can't kick it off.
Okay.
Or just how bad. And then Arjuna, I think your discussion.
Wait, is that real?
Kanye and Kim are getting a divorce.
That is true.
Is that breaking news?
We should have had this on What's It Good?
I saw it.
Was that marriage good?
Sahara told me earlier that like it was a report just a few hours ago. I mean, it's obvious they haven't like been pictured together in 6 months.
They're socially distancing.
Let me ask you this, okay? Kimye, the Kimye relationship, was it good? I'm gonna say yes.
Who cares?
Because it provided tabloids, hours and hours of entertainment.
I mean, it's no box, so Megatron won't care.
Yeah,
That's very true.
Is he attacking the box?
No, he's attacking.
Granite Armadillo asks us, how will it impact the DCEU?
Well, they can't cast either of them now.
I disagree.
I
think
duo.
Kanye can now be cast.
Kanye as the new Doctor Who.
Wow.
Half the time he wouldn't show up to set. The other time he'll probably just be preaching some kind of crazy shit. So production will get shut down and we'll never have Doctor Who again.
I will say this. I'm shocked that relationship lasted as long as it did.
They were friends for a long time.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, they had a friendship that predated their romantic relationship.
Wow. Should have just stayed friends. Doctor Who, Kanye.
There we go. I would watch that.
Doctor Who. I would tune in to see the train wreck.
You know,
if
there was a way to like get this idea in Kanye's head, which is like, hey, you say you're one of the greatest musicians of all time, redo the Doctor Who theme song and present something interesting, I'd be curious to see what he comes up with.
It would be him going, na 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 na.
I am a god.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Kanye as a musician is
yeah, no, he's great. He's super great. But like maybe he's at the point where stop doing the whole politics thing and just start doing some cool stuff like redo the Power Rangers theme song, make it more iconic than it is. Redo Doctor Who, redo the entire Star Wars original score. That will keep. But the thing is, it'll keep him so busy that he can't say anything stupid.
Yeah.
So boom.
He is a fan of a lot of nerdy stuff too. Like I think he likes anime.
Dude, get him to do Attack on Titan. Like that fucking theme song in season 4. It's catching on. But like a Kanye West season or Attack on Titan like theme tune. Basic.
Oh my god.
He'd just be like, death. Death.
He just straight up rips hides. Just like a hide cover.
Good lord.
That's the way to go. We got a couple suggestions for the next Doctor.
Let's hear him.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. No.
And Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall's not British.
Yeah, but it's still a recommendation. It brings the conversation full circle because
why is the Doctor gotta be British?
That's
why
true,
can't
actually.
He be American?
Why? Yeah, I mean, granted, British actors are usually better, but stage acting.
Why not just get like Tom Holland to do it then?
Emma Watson.
I think.
Ooh, I'd watch.
I think
I would watch.
I think the thing about Doctor Who that's fundamentally broken is the format of it. Like it's so formulaic at this point. They've done 13 seasons of the same thing essentially over and over and over again. And I think people are just so bored of it that they really need to change the entire thing.
Yeah. The other big thing, too, though, is like the fan base is not growing. It's shrinking.
Yep.
As they try to do, like, they've got to do something radically different or they need to do a big reset. Start it over.
Take a 60-year break again.
It wasn't a 60-year break.
I'm sorry. Take a
It was only
break.
technically like 20 years.
Take a 20-year break.
Because there was a 1980s Doctor Who movie.
It was the 90s.
Was it the 90s? Oh, then there was like a 15-year break.
Take a 15-year break. Allow more technology to be developed that you can incorporate into your stories to give you a new look and feel. But take a break. I don't see obviously money, right? They're like, no, we want to make money. But take a break, come back strong in 15 years. And ideally 20 years. In fact, ideally never, because I hate that show.
Why do you hate it so much?
Why am I giving?
No. It was 1996, so it was only a 9-year break.
Yep.
Yeah, but how much stuff though in between? Like how much is that? Is that one thing in like 20 years?
So it was 96 was the movie.
Yeah.
Then there was.
Well, what about before that?
It might have been 19. It's only listing when it first kicked off. So it first kicked off in 1963. And then there's
when was the last
1965, 1966. IMDb's weird.
You sure
Use Wikipedia.
No, there was something in 1990 for Doctor Who. Lists his TV episodes.
Just do that for a while. Do like these one-offs until...
Yeah, there was something in 1992. Like, so it's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, so take a break anyway. It needs a break. It needs one.
Also, the last episode, the last season, season 26, last aired in December 6, 1989.
There, see?
So that was only 7 years, 7 years.
And then it was then 7 years later they did the television movie.
That's a movie though.
That was
a movie in 10 years.
That was 86.
No, not 89 and 86.
And then 89 was the last season and episode of Doctor Who.
So they did an hour, 15-minute thing called Doctor Who Shada. And so it was a compilation video of unfinished story.
Yeah. There you go.
92.
So do that.
So they just keep doing shit.
Do that random stuff, but give it time before your next series. Give everyone a break. Give me a break.
No.
So and how Doctor Who used to work, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but British television used to be a lot of serials. So essentially it would be like a story told over like 4 or 6 parts. So
that sounds awesome.
That was how Doctor Who used to do it.
Why wouldn't they do that? That sounds like way better storytelling to me than these like Adventure of the Weeks. I hate Adventure of the Weeks.
Because it's all different now.
Stupid.
Shorter attention spans.
Go back to that format. You have better retention for your.
What if they brought Doctor Who more into the streaming world, right? And they dropped the full season at once, like
would that help?
A Netflix mode.
Would that help you? Would that be better?
I think that would be.
The show's bad, so I don't think anything's going to help it. But that's just my.
I think like that would have made sense, like the Matt Smith era of Doctor Who, where the storylines were so goddamn confusing. That would help because there would be less time needed to have to go back and like figure out what the hell you were watching or remember.
Here's what they need to do. In 2 years, do an Avengers style team up of all the Doctors who are alive.
They did that.
We'll do one more and then go dark for 20 years and come back in 20 years. Boom, done. That's how you save. That's how you put it to bed. One last Avengers. And then
Arjuna, what if Jodie Whittaker, she leaves and then they announce David Tennant is picking back up the role of Doctor Who?
I actually had a dream about that. That happened.
Is David Tennant your favorite?
David Tennant is probably the best Doctor. Probably. I really like Christopher Eccleston actually. But
he was only there for 1 year.
Kind of fucked him over. Fun fact: we are 2 years away from the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. So the 50th was in 2013. 2023 will be the 60th.
I've lived that long?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And on that note,
I think we're gonna go order some food.
Yeah, thank God, I'm starving.
Yeah, same here. Like my blood sugar hates.
I thought you weren't going to order, Krishna, because you want to be healthy. Because you're a little fuck.
Oh, are we doing more of these wipes? Let's do like all the wipes. Go, go, wipes.
Star Wars.
And now back to you.
Star Wars.
Ooh. That's a good one. Here, you squished me.
I like the squish one.
Don't squish me, bruh.
Squishy.
And now over to you.
Oh, wow. Dramatic fade.
Oh, wait. Can you do the circle thing? Oh, I was having a dream, and it started like this.
I don't think we have a circle.
No, then you're supposed to do the fade in.
Do the crossfade again.
The crossfade. And it's like the past.
And then we died.
And I'm back. All right, we're done. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone. My computer died.